name is Edwige Ingabire, and I'm going to present to you what is stress and how our body helps us to cope up with it, and what we might do. How are we expected to present ourselves so that it may not be overwhelming? I have a set of questions that I'm going to use so that I can go on with the concept, helping you to understand what is stress. First of all, I'm going to define stress. It is the emotional or mental tension that results from a demanding circumstances. What does it mean? It means that whenever we face a situation that is higher demanding than our abilities, that's when we start to feel overwhelmed and to feel stressed. Our body reacts differently to these situations, and mainly there is a release of hormones from the endocrine system, which has glands. Hormones are chemicals that are released throughout the body, and they help to regulate emotions and behaviors. When those hormones are released, they will help our organism to calm the situations that we might be facing that are making us to be stressed. I'm going to explain to you 3 forms of positive thinking that will help you to cope up with stress in your everyday life. The first time is optimism. What is optimism? It is the tendency to expect something positive. Whenever we face a situation in our everyday life, we need to believe that the outcome will be positive. We need to be positive in our thinking. The second is self-efficacy. Self-efficacy is to believe in our abilities to come up with a solution to a certain situation. People who are self-efficacy always react to situations in an active way. They believe in their abilities to come up with a solution to any situation that they might encounter. The third term is hardiness. Hardy people, they will always seem to be positive, and they are positive even in front of the major stressful life events. Those people, whenever they face a situation, you will never find them like giving up. They will always remain positive. You might ask yourself, why is it important to cope up with stress? Anytime that you face a situation, it is never effective to try to solve that situation by ignoring that you have it. Instead, you have to face it and try to search for the solution. This is the same thing with stress. Whenever we have in our life plenty of situations that are stressful. So the best way is to try and see how you can cope up with that stress instead of ignoring it. Because if you tend to ignore it, it will come up over and over again. What are the specific types of stress? There are acute stress, episodic stress, chronic stress, and they affect our life in a different way. But mainly the chronic stress, it is that one that comes from long-term stressors. It is unhealthier, and it is very dangerous to our life because it is repetitive and we tend not to find solution to it. That's why it contributes to us not being happy, and it also is unhealthier to our life. The acute stress, instead, it is exciting. We tend to find solutions to it. It pushes us to think and come up with solutions, and health, it is positive, I could say. The episodic stress is the acute stress, which is repetitive. Reflecting on my own experience to help you better understand this situation, there are times that I have coped with stress in a successful way and in an unsuccessful way. For the successful way, the weapons that I used are being optimism and having the self-efficacy. I've believed in my abilities. For example, starting at my college, university, I have been supposed to be responsible for everything, having a schedule, having assignments, having deadlines. That was the most stressing event. But the way I was optimistic, I showed optimism in all of those situations. I tried my best to make sure that I have come up with the desired outcomes by believing in my abilities, by being confident instead of showing the fear. But also, it has not been the same situation. I have been unsuccessful because some of the times I was pessimistic. I was like, I can't do anything. By giving up, by showing fear, that's when I have the unsuccessful situations. There are different strategies that people use to deal with stress. For men, there is fight or flight. This means they try their best to find a solution for a situation, or if they can't find a solution, they will move away from the stressing event or from the stressor. That's for men. But for women, they tend and befriend. This is a behavioral like reaction where they tend to share their situations with others, and they will like feel released. They will share their burden and try to come up with solutions from the society instead of keeping everything with themselves. So men and women, we are different, and we react to situations in a different way because we are different and we have different hormones. So specifically, the strategy for men is the fight or flight. They will try their best to come up with a solution, and if they can't, they will move away from the stressor. But for women, they need the society around. They will share out what they have so that they can feel released and try to find a solution in a team. Thank you. That was it. I think everyone has to be finally optimistic and try to cope up with stress in their everyday's life. Thank you.